Okay, so let's move on to day 5 of this 7-day challenge. So day 5, we're going to be looking at hiring someone from Upwork. So if you remember in day 3, I think it was, we put out some job offerings, and now that we've had enough time between now and then, we should have quite a few proposals on our Upwork page. And in the second part of this video, I'm going to give you some ideas of how you can have certain types of interiors created, so activity pages, and we're going to be looking at things like word searches. Word searches, they're incredibly popular when it comes to selling activity books, and that's why I've not really said about outsourcing this type of job. Is because you probably need to have some sort of software that creates these pages for you. Okay, so if I've tried this before, where I've tried to outsource word searches and mazes, and the resulting work from hiring for this type of project is just awful, and it takes too long, and it's way more expensive than it needs to be. So that's why I always recommend using software, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. But for now, you should have plenty of proposals back for your other jobs. So as you can see here, I've been looking for some simple activity pages and simple coloring book pages. I've got multiple job offerings out there. I uploaded these a few days ago. I've already gone through and messaged a couple people that I'm interested in. But as you can see, plenty of proposals are coming back, and that's mainly because I put out more than one job offering, okay? So you should have done this by now. If you haven't put out these job offerings, then or you're not having enough back, then make sure that you put up more job offerings. Just put them out there and see what comes back to you, okay? So once you see that you have some proposals on your jobs, you just want to go through them all, okay? So once I take a look at the proposals here, I go through pretty much every single person that applies. So the things that I look for that I kind of almost instantly dismiss are people that don't send samples. So if you don't send a sample after I've requested a sample, then I won't hire them. People that try and charge too much money for the job, I don't hire them. And what I like to look for, and I'm going to give you an example, one that I can already see here, this person here, I'm going to click them. Okay, they don't have samples, but what they've done is they've addressed me directly, and they've spoken about the type of job that I'm interested in. So what you're going to find when you outsource things from Upwork is you're going to get people that just copy and paste generic job applications to you. I pretty much don't ever hire these people that just copy and paste these type of applications. Like, I want someone that's actually read what I'm looking for and replies specifically to me regarding the job that I'm offering them. So for example, if I was putting out coloring pages here for kids, they've gone ahead and they've replied. They've noted that this is very similar to children's activity books. I've done a few of these. Looking forward to hearing from you. And from there, I can go down, I can check their portfolio to see what they've got uploaded already. And you can check a few other things about this person as well. So they might not have any reviews or feedback at the moment. That doesn't matter too much. It might help you make a decision with who you hire. But the fact alone that this person hasn't just copy and pasted a generic reply to me makes you want to message them, okay? So with this person, for example, I'd message them back saying, hey, can you send me some samples of your work? And then I'd like to just talk to this person, okay? Try and get the sample, see what they're about, see what they're willing to charge you per image or per interior that you're having made, and then go from there. And you can decide whether you want to come up and hire this freelancer or not. Okay, so here's another good example here. So hi there, I've read your job. I believe I'm a good candidate. I have many experience creating coloring books and pages for both adults and children. I can do it for $2 per page. And they've also sent samples of their work. Okay, so I'd go through their samples, see what their samples are like, and then decide from there whether I want to order a test sample from them or just maybe request a sample from them, a specific sample, because some people will do that. If it's a very simple job, you can say to them, hey, can you send me a specific example? And some people will be happy to do that, or some people might want it tagged on to the overall cost of hiring them. Okay, so when it comes to hiring people for your content, you need to make sure that you are specific with what you want. So if you're doing low content stuff, you can send your freelancer examples from other people's books and just say to them, I need an interior created like this one. So I'd come across to Amazon, find someone else's book in a similar niche and say, I want something similar to this created, but I want you to make sure that instead of having this, this, and this, that you have that, that, and that in this style instead. So make sure you change the font to this font that I like, or make sure that you include this graphic that I like, or make sure you have this prompt in here that I want, or this quote in here that I want. So you need to be specific. And one of the reasons why I like being specific about what I want made is because I want to make sure that anything this person creates is going to be created just for me. So they're not just reselling me something they've created for something else. And the result there is that I end up with a unique interior on Amazon, okay? And also another concern that people have is that after you've hired someone, how do you know that they're not going to just resell that work onto someone else? And I think you need to put the fear factor into people that you're not quite sure about. So if they don't have much feedback and you're not quite sure about them, you need to say to them, like, after we've created this contract, so when you hire them, you're basically creating a contract between you and the outsourcer. You need to say to them that they must understand that once you've paid for this work, all ownership to the rights of that work is transferred to the person that's paid for the work, i.e. yourself. So you need to make sure that you say that to them. And I say that to pretty much every person that I hire. I say that upon me paying for this work, this now becomes my work. I own the work, and you are not to use it in any other area, online or offline. You're not allowed to sell it to anybody else. This is my work. You need nothing to do with it after I paid for it, okay? So you need to be a little bit firm with people. And for me, I've never had any issues with duplicate content when hiring from Upwork, when doing things like this, okay? So the takeaway from this is don't just hire the first few people that you see. Dig deep with them, ask them questions, get them to send you samples. Make sure they understand that the ownership is going to be yours after you pay for it. Make sure that what you have is going to be unique. So uniqueness comes from being specific about what you want made, okay? And then once you're happy with the person that you found, you just go ahead and hire them for the agreed price. And then you just need to wait, of course, for your content to come back from them. So obviously I can't tell you how long it's going to take because it depends on what you're having made and the person that you're hiring. But those are the type of things that you can discuss beforehand. And you should say to them, the sooner the better. I need this done within 1 day or 2 days. And they might say to you, hey, I can't do it for 3 days or 4 days. And then you need to decide from there whether that's quick enough for you. And I think it probably will be. Okay, so for your higher content books, this is obviously going to take you longer to have this made. So obviously, if you're doing a 7-day challenge with me here, it's going to take you much longer because it's going to take you longer to have that book made. And that's why I always recommend that you have low content, medium content, and higher content books made, because whilst you're waiting for those higher content books to come back, you can be working on your lower and medium content books at the same time. Okay, so again, optimizing our time, but we're getting lots of good stuff out there, and we're preparing for those higher content books as well in the future. So if you're having your higher content books made from Upwork, if you're outsourcing someone to do them, then I'd highly recommend that you take much longer when it comes to actually finding your freelancer. So a temptation here that people have with their higher content books is just to hire the first person that comes their way, and it doesn't work out too well because, you know, people will take advantage of, you know, copying existing content off the internet. And obviously you don't want to upload anything onto Amazon that exists on the internet already. So you need to be absolutely sure that the work that you're getting back is unique and it's not found on the internet anywhere else. So you need to do your checks in terms of plagiarism. And a big way of avoiding that in the first place is to make sure that you be more picky with who you hire from Upwork. Okay, so that's the best way that you can start to avoid having issues with plagiarism, is to be more specific with people on Upwork. Okay, so don't just throw your money around, find these people more specifically. Okay, so that's hiring from Upwork. So you can have your coloring pages made, you can have your higher content books made here, you can have your low content books made here as well. You can have many, many different types of book made from Upwork. However, as I said at the start of this video, there are certain types of pages that you're not really going to find outsourcers for you, and that is pages such as word searches. And one of the temptations that there is when it comes to creating word searches and activity pages is to use free generators off the internet. Now, I'm not entirely sure that you're actually allowed to use anything like that. So when it comes to that, I always take the safest route and I use paid software. So the software that I'm using, and with this one, I am affiliated with it. So if you do purchase this through my link in the description, I will receive a commission for it. But of course, I think, as you know, on this channel, I don't promote anything that I don't actively use. And the one word search generator that I have been using, and I've spoken about in quite a few videos, is instantpuzzlegenerator.io. It is a paid software. However, you own all the rights to sell the puzzles that you create inside this software. Okay, so one of the big things that worries me on Amazon is that I upload some sort of content that I'm not supposed to upload. So like the free word search generators, I don't know if anyone can really tell you if you're allowed to use them commercially. However, with Instant Puzzle Generator, I've been in touch with the creator of this, and he has confirmed to me that you can, of course, create all the puzzles that you want and sell them on Amazon the way that you want. They're all yours to sell. So anything that you create here, you're not going to have any issues with Amazon. So Instant Puzzle Generator is $47 at the time of creating this video. So I would only really invest in this type of software if you're looking to have multiple books made. So for the sake of making one word search, I wouldn't buy any software, of course. However, activity books, word searches, things like that, they're going to be so hot for such a long time that I genuinely think this is a really good investment, and it's a one-time payment and you can just use it forever to create, help you create activity pages and word searches. So for me, what I'm working on at the moment is I'm actually having coloring pages. As you saw my job offering, I'm having the coloring pages made from Upwork, and then I'm using some of the puzzles from Instant Puzzle Generator to add into that to start making a activity book. Okay, so it has multiple uses. It's very easy to use, and I think honestly $47 is a really good price. I don't want to try and hard sell you or soft sell you on anything here. This is totally up to you. I just cannot think of any other way to really create word searches that are safe to use. So if this software is something that interests you, then you can go down to the description and check it out. And just to note one more thing with the Instant Puzzle Generator, from my experience and at the time of recording this, I don't think you can create words where some of the letters have accents on them. So like Spanish words, for example, I don't think you can create them yet, and I don't think you can put numbers in. So bear that in mind if you decide to invest into this software. But I have been in touch with the creator of this software, and he has said to me that they are planning on introducing lots of things like this in the future. So that's something that we can hopefully expect in the future. Okay, so that's day 5. We've gone ahead and we've looked through the people that we can hire. And hopefully we have actually ended up by hiring multiple people here to create interiors for the niches that we have ready. If you don't find someone by the end of this day, then obviously don't worry. And you're going to have plenty more time to hire someone in the upcoming days or even weeks. It doesn't matter too much. And then of course we looked at the activity pages that are linked in the description below. Okay, so before we move on to day 6 here, before I end this video, obviously I just need to make it clear that we might all be at different stages at this point. Okay, so it's going to be impossible for us to start on day 1 and finish on day 7 with a book that's ready to publish, because there's going to be a lot of variables. Like I can't obviously know what niche you're going to be looking for or what software you're going to be using. And obviously if you decide to get the software that I've described in this video, then of course you're going to need to take time to actually create them as well. Whereas someone else may have just had a low content book interior made and they got that back the next day, that means they're going to be ready for the next step. Okay, so even if you get the next email and you're not ready to move on, just don't worry about it. Make sure that you get that task done for that day and then move on to the next day's video. So that might not be the very next day that you actually do it. It might be in a week's time. The point is we're just focusing on one task at a time for now before we move on. So hopefully that's going to move us on to day 6, where we're going to check our listings. So by now you should have made all those listings. Remember, from the 3rd day of this challenge, we made all of our listings, or we started making those listings. So what we want to do now on day 6 is to check those listings just to make sure that they look good and they read good and they have all the keywords in that we want. And then we're going to finish them off, because by now, hopefully we have created some book covers and maybe we have some interiors back. Okay.